In today's video, I'm going to show you a delicious peanut butter and jelly version of overnight oats. Super quick and easy meal prep that I'm sure you're going to love as an athlete. So let's go, let's get into the kitchen and whip this up. Hi, I'm Aleksa, sports dietitian, nutrition coach. Welcome again to one of my recipe videos. Now, before we get into today's recipe, do remember to subscribe and ring that bell so you can stay in the loop with all the videos that I release. So, as you can see, we're in the kitchen now. And it's time to show you how to make this overnight oats recipe. And it's super simple. Honestly, it's one of those quick and easy meal preps that makes it really borderline saying that you can't make any excuses to not have a good quality breakfast to start your day. So I'm going to show you that in a second. But I just want to talk about oats for a sec. Okay. Oats are traditionally seen as this boring food. They're not, they're nutritious, but they're boring. They're nutritious, but they're just not an interesting food that really satisfies the craving. But honestly, that is very wrong. Okay, there's wrong thinking there. Because what you can do with oats is you can actually make them a lot more versatile than they are. You can add different flavors, make different flavor profiles, different combinations and that sort of stuff. And that's what I'm going to show you one today. I'm going to show you an overnight version, but obviously you can make normal porridge as well. So I'm going to show you how to make it. I'm going to show you the ingredients, how easy it is, and I'll do a taste test as always, tell you what the calories and macros are for the recipe, and go from there. Okay, so these are the ingredients for these overnight oats. Obviously we've got our oats, otherwise it wouldn't be overnight oats, okay? We've got our protein powder. Now I've got the vanilla flavor because it's more neutral than obviously the other flavors. But if you have like a flavorless version, that might be even better because the vanilla will obviously show up in the flavor profile when you're tasting it. So while we're going for the peanut butter and jelly flavor, keep in mind there's going to be some vanilla in there as well. But then honestly the key ingredients to spice this up is obviously some strawberry jam. You can obviously use raspberry as well, but I like strawberry jam more for this recipe. And then obviously we've got some peanut butter, just some smooth peanut butter. And just for some extra sweetness, you may not need this depending on your protein powder and how sweet you like it, especially because you've got jam in there. But you can obviously add some stevia as well, okay? Some alternative sweetener to add a bit more sweetness to it, so to speak. But it's as simple as that. That's the base ingredients for this recipe. So let's show you exactly how much to put in. Okay, so first thing we've got to do is we've got to grab yourself a mason jar or some kind of thing like this. I like to use these mason jar things. You can use something else, doesn't really matter. You just got to have something that you can nice and close it and keep it in the fridge until it obviously is ready to eat. But that's just what I use. You can grab them from the store for very cheap. So yeah, just grab one of those and have that ready. Now, obviously you can see like, oh, we're not using the mason jar first. That's normal because what we need to do with this peanut butter, because it's a thicker peanut butter, is we then melt it up a bit so it's easier to kind of put into the mixture when we shake it up. So what we're going to do is we're going to use 30 grams of peanut butter, okay? Now what I'm doing here is called the reverse way. 32, I can deal with 32 grams. So what I'm doing there is called the reverse way because I'm not putting the container on the scale and then trying to measure it little bit by little bit. I put the actual container there, zero it out, portion it backwards there. I did that in a previous video, so you can click up top to watch that after this if you want, and how to make tracking easier, but that's the strategy. So we've got our peanut butter, and we're gonna melt this up for 30 seconds in the microwave. Okay, so here we go. Nice and melted. We'll put that on the side just for a second. So now we'll put our mason jar obviously on the scale, we zero it out, and now we're gonna add our oats. So what you're gonna need is about a half a cup or 50 grams of oats. That's 45, so just a little bit more. There we go, 50, okay? Now what you can do is you can obviously just add the stevia, get that overdone with. This depends on how sweet you want it. I'm gonna add about 5 to 10 grams. See how I go. 4 grams, I'm happy with 4 grams, close enough. And now what we'll do is add the milk, okay? So with the milk, you want about half a cup of milk. I'm using normal skim milk, so apologies, I should put that at the start with the ingredients. For some weird reason, I forgot to put it. On the main ingredients, I forgot to put there, don't know why. But yeah, use some skim milk or almond milk or oat milk, rice milk, soy milk, whatever you want really. Okay, so we're gonna do that, put it on the fluid section and go about 125 mils, or half a cup. There we go, 125 is close enough. Don't want to add too much because I need this to be the right consistency when it's obviously done being overnight. So now what we'll do is add a scoop of your protein powder of choice. Like I said, I'm going with vanilla, but vanilla obviously has flavor to it. So keep that in mind that there is going to be a vanilla flavor to your recipe. So if you don't want that, use a flavorless whey protein or any kind of protein alternative that you use. Doesn't have to be whey if you don't use whey. Okay, now I'll zero that out. Now we're going to be adding the jam, okay? Or jelly as you'd call it if you're in the States. Okay, so we're going to add 50 grams. Now you may be wondering, that's a lot of jam to be adding to this recipe. Yes, it is, but we want that extra flavor because the thing is the vanilla and even the peanut butter is going to be quite overpowering. So you need a bit of extra of this to add that good flavor profile because it's not going to obviously taste exactly like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but we're trying to get it to be as close as possible. So you can do a reverse way here as well, but I'm going to risk it for the biscuit. So let's see how we go. Try to not use my fingers here. I can avoid it. This one might be a bit too much. I'm just sensing that it is, so I'm going to cut that down a bit. 46. This next bit should be enough. Okay. There we go. Exactly 50. Okay, so now this is nearly ready. As you can see, we've got everything in there that you need for this main recipe. Now I'm going to be adding, obviously, the peanut butter. In. Get all this in, don't waste it. And then what's ever left, you can lick the spoon. Okay, so that is it ready. There we go. As you can see, it's all there, ready to mix up. Okay, so we've got our mixture, we've got our lid. All we do is pop it closed. And now you're wondering, okay, do I just leave it like that? I mean, it probably is mixing in there, but no, you don't want to do that, especially with the protein powder. You need to mix it up further, okay? So what you do is close the lid, make sure it's nice and closed. You don't want to mess, trust me, okay? And just shake it up best as you can. Because the peanut butter, as you see, it will go on the edges a bit. Keep that in mind. You may have to open it and scoop it down. This one's not too bad, okay? So this one's gonna go in the fridge. We can't eat this straight away, but I made one last night and that one was a bit more sticky, I guess, along the edges, and I had to kind of scoop it down. So honestly, just keep that in mind. But generally speaking, as long as you get it into like a nice mixture, like this. Okay, you can put on some music and just like dance or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Make it a fun time in the kitchen. And that's pretty much done, okay? So what we're gonna do is just pop it into the fridge, leave it overnight, and go from there. Obviously right now it's morning, you know what I mean, okay? Leave it for a few hours until it all soaks up and it'll be ready to go. So let's grab the one I made last night, let's give it a taste test, tell you exactly how it tastes, and then break down the calories and the macros. Let's go. Okay, here we go, okay? Honestly, doesn't look like the greatest thing, okay? It just looks like a bunch of plain porridge mixed up with fluids and just put it into a jar, okay? But that's just the way it looks, okay? When you see those recipe pictures with all those overnight oats, that's before it's mixed up, or it's a different style recipe where you don't have to mix in the protein powder, okay? So don't be alarmed when you look in the morning, you're like, is that all it looks like? It's all about the flavor and the nutrition. So let's give it a taste test. I'll let you know what I think. You know, I already know what I think about my recipe. Okay. Like I said, the vanilla is quite a strong flavor. Surprisingly, as neutral as it is for a protein powder, it does overpower a lot of the flavor for a lot of recipes if you're not using a lot of the other ingredients. And the thing is, we can't be bombarding this recipe with peanut butter, with jam. But with that extra bit of jam and the right amount of peanut butter, it definitely has the essence of PB&J. That's good. I'm gonna finish that in a second. Before we get into the nutrition though, just a couple of disclaimers that you might be aware of, okay? Obviously, this recipe does not seem like a low calorie recipe, and you're correct. This is not one of my, it is macro friendly, but it's not one of my low calorie recipes for fat loss or whatever. This is a great recipe for someone that just wants a good, healthy, filling, nutritious diet, as an athlete especially, who wants to potentially fuel themselves. So this one actually is perfect for like a post-workout. Let's say you get up in the morning, you have a little bit of carbohydrates, go to do your workout or your game, you come home and you need something to refuel. this is perfect. I'll explain why in a second when I break down the macros. But if you're really wanting it to be lower calorie, that is okay. There are ways to do this. Number one, instead of the peanut butter, you can obviously add peanut butter powder, like PB2 and stuff. So sometimes I'll use that if I have it around. I tend to use normal peanut butter these days more than the PB2. But if you're really conscious of your calories, or you can't really have much to afford in terms of calories, and this is too much of a high calorie breakfast for you, swap out the peanut butter for some PB2 powder. That'll be perfectly okay as well. Jam in itself is, funny enough, as much as people don't think it's that healthy, it's actually not that high in calories. Like, it's predominantly carbohydrate based, but if you are wondering how can you make it more low calorie, you can obviously get something like Natvia jam, which is a very low calorie jam that will still give you that flavor profile, slightly different taste obviously, but it'll still work well. So you can obviously swap it out for that. Now you'll notice also you can probably add some fruit to this. So some chopped up berries will work perfectly well. I just went for the baseline recipe, just PB&J, just something really quick and easy, something that you can make on the go or the night before, whatever. So, I didn't add it in this recipe, but you can obviously add fruit there as well to spice it up. But they're the main two ways you can cut the calories here. Is either by swapping the peanut butter to PB2 powder or something of similar nature, or swapping the jam for a low calorie jam, okay? But the world's your oyster, do what you need to do. That's just a bit of extra disclaimers of how you can make this lower calorie if you are really concerned. But remember, it's not always just about being the lowest calorie option. Keep that in mind as an athlete. Okay, so with that said, let's tell you exactly what the nutrition is for this recipe, okay? So for this whole mason jar of a recipe, which doesn't look like much there, but if you put it into a bowl, it's more than you think, okay? It's about 730 calories, okay? It goes 730 calories. So as you can see, you're probably thinking, if you're used to lower calorie options, wow, that's not that low in calories. It's not meant to be. It's supposed to be an athlete's breakfast, something that really fuels you. And remember, sometimes we are under eating calories, so keep that in mind. Okay, so 730 calories. Now in terms of the macros, which is probably something you want to be more conscious of in this situation because it's a refueling breakfast, it gives you about 45 grams of protein. You honestly can't go wrong there, that's perfect. It's got 84 grams of carbs. Honestly, that is quite good because you've got to think about it. You've got to get in about, roughly speaking, it's just a guideline, 1 gram carbohydrates per kilogram of body weight to refuel yourself. So let's say you're someone that's around that 80, 85, 90 kilogram mark. This will give you the carbs you need to refuel after a strong workout. Okay, so that's not too bad. And then fats is 23 grams. It's not too high, it's not too low, it's kind of middle ground, and the fats are obviously coming from a healthy source, the peanut butter. Okay, so you can't go wrong there. 730 calories, 45 grams of protein, 84 grams of carbs, 23 grams of fats. And obviously you got to keep in mind that's probably high in fiber as well. So it's a very nutritious breakfast to go for. So now what I want you to do is create this yourself and post it up on Instagram or Facebook or somewhere there and tag me at The Climbing Dietitian. And I want to see your creations and how you enjoy this. Of course, I want you to comment below as well. As always, comment below and let me know. Did you enjoy this recipe? Do you enjoy these kind of quick and easy breakfast type options? Maybe I can make some more videos like this for you. And of course, as always, I'll say, if you want a sports dietitian to help, please reach out, okay? In the description notes below, you will be able to find my email, or I'll put it here on the screen as well, Aleksa@theclimbingdietitian.com.au. Just reach out to me and let me know what you need help with nutrition. I can help you out. Until then though, keep in mind that just fuel yourself correctly, work on nutrition consistently, and you'll get there. But yeah, subscribe if you haven't done so. As always, got to say, subscribe so you stay in the loop and don't miss any of these recipe videos. Hit the like button, of course. Okay, if this video made you go, ooh, I feel like some overnight oats right now, hit the like button, okay, show this video some love. And until next time, I'll see you. Have a good one. Stay classy. Bye.